Hello, friends. This is Tech Phantoms lead Abhi. Today, we are going to have a beginner-friendly session on GitHub to get started, to help the students get started with GitHub and plus participate in this activity that we are having that is known as mini API hacks. Here, we'll be helping and leveraging students who are interested in computer science to build some products using APIs. So that's all for the API hacks. I think you must have read about the participant guides that we have shared on our Discord and all to the team leads. Fine. So let's get started. We have Ashish Chavda, who is CM at the Red Geeks for Geeks. So all goes to you, Ashish. Over to you.
Yeah. Hey guys. So how are you? I hope you are good in this pandemic situation. So we are here with our hackathon, and this is a pre-hack preparation. We thought that our participants would need this kind of session, as you will have to be building the projects in GitHub also, because there are various teams and each team has various members, so you will need to be collaborative. So GitHub is exactly the platform you will need. So a little about myself. I am a junior year engineering student at SSTC Bhilai, and I am basically a front end web developer. So my favorite language is JavaScript, and I am in the development team of Tech Phantoms and also in the organizing team of API Hacks. So first of all, my question to you guys is, let me know in the chat that you are participating in this hackathon, right? So what you are going to use for sharing your project code with other members um, of your team? Let me know in the chat. Abir, should we wait for participants to join us?
Yeah, I think we should wait if we have done it more earlier. Let's wait for a few more minutes before we get started because I think the broadcast is like 5 seconds on delay, so we need to take care of that too while
Yeah,
asking questions.
sure. So until then, who else has joined us? Please answer this question, that what you are going to use to share your project code in this hackathon. No, Amit, it is. I am asking that you will be working in a team, right? So there are various team members. I think the maximum number is four. So there can be a maximum of four members in a team. So you will have to be collaborative on your project. So what you will use so that you can share your project code to other members. Like most of the people use Dropbox, Google Drive, Pastebin, or OneDrive kind of something. So what you are planning to use? Okay, so you are solo. Fine. What about others? Guys, please try to be interactive, because if you are interactive, it will help you. If you have any doubts or queries, or if you want to discuss anything with us, you can discuss it. So please be interactive. That way we can deliver best of us to you. Okay, I think most of the participants are solo here. No problem. Okay, do let me know. Have you gone through the participant guide yet? It was shared in our Discord channel. Have you gone through that? If you have, then please respond with yes in the chat. That's great. People are responding yes. That it means they have gone through the participant guide. And for Vishant and Amit, your questions will be answered in our keynote session, which we will organize tomorrow. So all your questions regarding hackathons, rounds, judging criteria, everything will be answered tomorrow.
Yeah, and guys, also there's one more information that we are actually having starting from round zero, not the first round. It will be from round zero, which will be actually getting started from this midnight, 24th midnight. That means today, tonight at 12 a.m. that you all guys have to like all the submission window will be opened and you need to fill something till, and the deadline is mentioned as in the participant guide till 25th midnight. So you need to just think of any fancy idea which you think anything. It can be anything that you want to build something like a comics guide where anything where you're going to search a comic statement or something like that. And it will show you a list of comics having those statements, something like that. So it can be any fancy idea which you are thinking of, and we just need to see that what is your creativity and what are you going to do with it. That's all. Continue, Ashish. Sorry for the disturb.
Yeah, no worries, Sabir. I guess we will wait for 3 more minutes, then we'll go ahead with the presentation or the session.
Yeah, sure.
Until then, participants, those who are attending now, if you have any queries regarding GitHub or anything related, you can ask here. Okay, so tell me in the chat, how of you have previously used GitHub or Git? If you have used previously, then respond with yes. And if you are beginner or if you are listening it for the first time, then respond no. So I'll get to know our audience better, that if they are beginner or intermediate level. What is GitHub? We let you know and add. Okay, most of the responses are no. I guess this session is useful for you, and thank you for joining.
So Vishant Agarwal, we got a question from you that, so what do you mean by of idea here? Idea, it can be anything which comes in your mind, anything creative, whatever you dreamt in childhood, anything you want to see with the technology part. That I want to create some application where I can store all my documents, all my important documents, and can fetch them in one call or something like that. Something like that. You can create a function or something like that, which can actually put some impact. The main stuff is whatever you are building, it should have some impact. It can be anything. It can be a simplest and dumbest idea, but it has some impact. Then it is considered as a useful idea. That's what. So I think it's clear now, Vishant Agrawal.
Abir, it's
Okay,
time now, I
actually,
believe.
I think we should start with the presentation. It's
Yeah, sure.
time. Yeah.
So, attendees, please be interactive in the chat, and we will be responding to your queries. And there will be Q&A session also at the last. So, if you are having any doubts, we'll try to clear that also. So, actually, please first answer this question: that what are you going to use for sharing your project code with other team members in this hackathon. Like I'm telling about me. Before I used to know about GitHub, I used to share it with the help of Dropbox or Google Drive. So what you guys were planning? If anybody here is not solo, then please do answer. That's great if you are going to use GitHub. Okay, let's move it. First of all, VCS. VCS means version control system. So as you can see the formal definition here, version control system are category of software which which help record changes to files by keeping a track of modification done to the code. So what does this mean is a VCS is a software which helps you track all the changes you have done to a file in your project. For suppose if you are working on a web development project, you will be working with index.html files or style.css kind of files. So you will be making many changes in those files daily. Like in the day one, you have done some templates. On day two, you have added some images. So this kind of changes you will be adding in that file. So VCS is a software which helps you manage that file and also the changes. So let us take an example. Like if you have used Google Drive or Google Docs, so there, whenever you change something, it is recorded in the background. You won't see that, but it is recorded in the background. So at a time of power shortage or anything like that, that you accidentally close the application or accidentally you close the tab, so it is saved there. So whenever you open it, it is retrieved from there. So VCS is actually that software which is used to do this kind of things. So with the help of VCS, multiple people can work on a single project. For example, you are participating in a hackathon now. So most probably you will be forming a team, not for solo participants, but those who have two team members or three team members or four team members. So you will be working with a team and you will be having to share your project code with other members also. So for this system, we are using version control system that yes, this is my change, this is your friend's change, this something is someone else change. So we have to merge that in a single file and you will have to submit that code to us so that we can test that or we can judge that code, that what the project you have made. So this basically is a version control system. I know it will not be clear now, but if we move it will eventually get much better. So let us take an example how VCS works basically. So in the first image, if you can see, there is a file. So let us take an example that it is index.html file. So in on the first day, you added a line of code which does something. I don't know what it does, but it does something. So what VCS will do, it will store this line of code. And on the second day, you again edit something. And on the third day, again you added something. So this is how VCS works, and this is what VCS stores. It does not store actual file, but it stores the changes what you have made. So you can take it like a snapshot. Like today on 24 November, I am taking a snapshot of my project, right? We can take a snapshot of our project, that how does it look. On the day 2, we will take again snapshot of our project, that how does it look. So you can, if there is a VCS, you will be able to uh, track the difference made from day 1 to day 2. Like here you can say on the first day and in the second day, you can see what all changes are made. So this is how VCS works. And we are talking about collaboration here. On the left image, there is a repository, or repository, I can say a project or a file that you both are working, you and your friend are working on it. You told your friend to make the navigation bar, and you are working on the footer. So you both are doing a different work. So whenever you are working on a project, what you will do, you will make two copies of it. One will go to your friend, and one you will keep with yourself. So whenever your copy is with you, you will work on your side, that is navigation bar, and your friend will work on the footer. So whenever you're both are completed with your work, you will have to merge those changes. So merging those changes manually is very hectic task. For now, it seems easy that it was navigation bar and someone else was working on footer, but no. When you are working on a real project, it becomes very hectic. So what does VCS do? It helps you merge those changes also. That okay, your friend has worked on this part and you have worked on this part, so you give it to VCS, and it will merge those changes. And in our case, that VCS is Git. Okay, so we'll talk about Git more. Git. Git is a software which is also called a version control system. So Git is free and open source. You can download it from this website, git.scm.com, git-scm.com. And I encourage you to please start using Git, as if you are in the development field or in the IT or CS field, and you are supposedly going to work in a firm where you will be given some tasks. So there will always be a version control system which you will have to use. Most of the times, I can say 90% of the times, it is Git, but sometimes people use other VCS also. For example, Mercurial is also an example of VCS. And Git is a distributed VCS. Like, it is not like something. So example, there is a server, and you are accessing a website from that server. If that server goes down, you won't be able to access the website, so you are cut off from the server. So this is not how VCS actually Git works. Git is a distributed version control system. It means everybody using that system will have a copy of that software also. For example, I am using the Git version control system, so I have a software installed on my computer itself. So it is distributed, means everybody using it have a copy of that software. So this is how Git works, and it is fast and efficient for all kinds of projects. By all kinds, I mean small projects and large projects. For a small, I mean your side projects, like you are working on your portfolio website or something for your college project, something like that. That is categorized as a small project, I think. And for large projects, I can say, like you will be using, I think, JavaScript framework. So an example is React, and a more example is VS Code, which is a code editor you will be using. A very famous example is Linux kernel, which is hosted on in GitHub and built by Linus Torvalds. So Linus Torvalds is the person who invented Git also, for uh, for managing their task. Vishant, I'll be talking about that later. Sure, sure. I'll be talking about that later. So this is what about Git, and it is all you want to know about Git, because Git is just a software which helps you track your changes on a file. That's it. So we'll talk about working of Git also. That how does Git work? So there are three stages in a Git, a repository or a folder or a project, you can say. So there are three stages. First is the working directory, where you are actually working on it. For example, I am opening my code editor, for example, Notepad or Visual Studio Code, anything of your choice. I'm working on a file now. I'm typing out my code, and I'm doing changes on my files, different files. I'm doing all kind of changes. So it is my working directory. Means I'm currently working on it. And there is comes a staging area. Staging area is kind of like you are registering your changes. Like I am in a working directory. I am typing out my code. If I press control S, means I've saved my file. So I can say the changes have been registered, means all changes have been saved to the file, and I can access those changes later also. So it is how you can visualize a staging area. And the repository means it you can say it like it is the final product of your project that you will be giving out to someone to work on it, or you will be delivering it to someone. Like, you got a project to work on, you worked on it and you completed that project, and you give it to some other person. Okay, so you can say it like that. But and these are the these are the git commands. First is git add and second is git commit. So you are on the working directory, and you have to add your changes to the staging area. So it is like you are registering your files on the git version control system. So for that you have to do the git add part. So git add will be continuously counting your changes before it has to be committed. I'll talk about commit also, but Git will track all the changes you are giving it to them by the means of git add, and it is all saved in the staging area. And after the staging area, you will have to commit it the changes. Commit is like saving the changes. Like final change has been registered. After that, it cannot be changed. Well, you can change, but for now, it won't be changing anything. So git commit is like taking a snapshot of that project and saving it to the final draft. That means your repository. So this is how Git works. And this is a better visualization of what we have talked till now about Git. So here, please ignore the date now. So here is a timeline of your project. Suppose you are working on a website, and on the first day, you build this layout, which you can see in this picture. You build this layout, you edit some text and something, and then you committed this. And after few days, you again worked on something, you added the images also and added some more text, and again you committed. And on the final day, you changed the layout and you added some more text, and you again committed. So it is the final draft of your project till now. So it is the timeline, and this is how VCS works basically. So let's come to the Vishan's question, that difference between Git and GitHub. So what we have talked till now about Git is that Git is a software. Git is a version control system. Git comes with all kinds of things, but most of the times it is used in a command line fashion. So most of the times it is used in a command line fashion.
Okay, Ashish, are you there? Ashish. So, guys, here the difference between Git and GitHub. No voice. Am I audible, guys? Okay, don't worry, guys. Just a few. I think there's some technical glitch at Ashish's side. Just let me tell you that what is actually what are your doubts. Just have a doubt session right now. Uh, Up to when Ashish comes, let's have a doubt session. Quick doubt session, guys. Yeah. So yeah, great. So Amit, what's your doubt? I'll picking guys randomly and will be asking your doubts. So first, Amit Kumar, what's your doubt? What do you have got to know about it, and what is your doubt actually? First doubt. Yeah, Ashish is back. Ashish, we're just having a quick doubt session from all. I'll be picking up some random candidates, random participants, and we'll be having few quick doubts until everything gets sorted up. Fine. So
Yeah, sorry for that.
first thing,
I had
Amit Kumar. Yeah. So we have this doubt first. I want to know what we have to do in video. So first of all, Amit, you just need to first chill. Just don't worry. Everything is fine. You just need to think, boost out your creativity hormones. That what you can think of technology. What you can do anything. Like suppose you have some documents. As I said, you have some documents, and you have filtered them like these are some important documents and these are some random documents, and you want to actually see only the important documents, something like that. You just thought of some idea, something like that, that there's some situation where you just want to see the important documents. It can be a birth certificate or a simple class 10 mark sheet or something like that, which is very important. So those documents, how can you sort it out? So some API calls or something like that, which can help you to get all the important documents in the folder or in Google Drive, something like that. You can think of it, which can help you to get the information of what all important documents you have, something like that. The idea. It can be anything. I just took some technical idea. It can be anything. Suppose you want to see cats videos on YouTube, just some random idea. So what will you do? So which and you want a list of cat videos available on YouTube. You won't go to YouTube and search for cat videos. It's That's the restriction. You are not going to go on YouTube and search for cat videos. You are going to use YouTube queries, the URL queries, how you can get all the list of cat videos, something like APIs or something like that. So these are the ideas. I think that makes bit clear about what you are going to do in the video, explaining your idea, that how you are thinking, what is your imagination or something like that. Sir, can we change our idea once we have registered? Shikha, this is bit actually, I won't recommend this one, because what happens in this hackathon, in this mini hack, this is not like something we can do and change. It's not like that. Actually, we are trying to build a culture inside you, something like that. It's a culture, right? What kind of culture? Your API first skill, right? How you are going to first idea. Our rounds are totally focused on what is idea. Then we are going to implement that idea. Then we are going to check, is it feasible? First, sorry, let me just correct. We are first thinking about idea. Then we are going to check, is it feasible? It's not something I want to go to moon. It's not feasible right now in this mini hack, right? So then we are going to see how you are going to implement that idea and how it is impacting, what is the impact index and everything. And that's actually will help you to build a whole set of skill in you. That is the main mission of this mini hack, not the prizes or not the something like that. It's there by our partners or sponsors. That's fine. But the main mission of this hackathon is to leverage yourself up in this API for skill. Fine. So we will have this again, the quick doubt session. I'm over to you, Ashish.
Yeah, thank you, Abir.
What is API? One doubt is there. You make clear,
Okay,
Ashish. Yeah.
Abir, it's for you.
Sorry. It's is it?
I guess we'll clear this later at the end of the
Yeah,
session.
yeah, yeah. Sure. We'll have this session for APIs. Don't worry, Amit.
Yeah, sure. So let's continue with our presentation. So sorry for the inconvenience. I had a power cut here, so that's why. So let's continue. So we were talking about the GitHub. GitHub is a service which you can access via the browser, and previously it was just present in the browser. Like you have to open the browser to access the GitHub. But now GitHub has also released their CLI, means command line interface, which is presently in the version 1.2.0, and you can do all the tasks with the GitHub CLI which you were using with the Git CLI previously. So it is a place where you can upload your projects, your code, and you can share with it others, and people can collaborate on your projects also. So it is a fun thing to do also, and Also, a good GitHub profile makes your resume better, I can say. So all of those who haven't created their GitHub profile yet, please do it now. Not now, after the session, but please do it today only. As for the hackathon, you will have to submit your GitHub repository also. We'll talk about that later. At that, all the conventions, that how you have to create the repository, how you will have to upload your code and everything. So let's move ahead. So this is the UI of the GitHub. This is how it looks like. We will see in the web UI demo also, but for now, let's talk the abstract idea that this is how does it look. So a repository, first of all, whenever you visit GitHub and a project, you will see this kind of thing. So here you can see various tabs are listed, and there are many folders of codes here. So repository is, in our terms, is just a folder which you are watching in the browser. That's it. So this folder contains all of your code which you have included in your project, and that all the important files, for example, index.html file for a web project, and for app project, all those files which are needed. Actually, I don't know about that, but for the web, index.html, in style.css, all kinds of file are here. So this is where all your project code is hosted. This is how does it look like. And there are important things in this page which you need to know. First thing is fork. We'll talk about this is related to mostly open source, but let's talk briefly about it. That forking is making a personal copy of that project. For example, you saw something on GitHub and you want to work on it, so you will have to fork this to make it to make a copy of that project. And the second thing is a star. Let's take a better analogy here. For example, most of it you use Instagram, right? So whenever you see a meme, and if you really enjoyed that meme, what you do, you like that post. So this is same like whenever you like a project, you star it to show the appreciation to that project manager that yes, you are doing a great job, please continue doing that. So a star is something like that. And watch is a button which you press only when you are working in a project, because by pressing this watch button on a repository, um, you are subscribing to all the notifications that, that this repository is going through. For example, somebody added a file, somebody added a commit, somebody made a pull request. We'll talk about pull request and issues later. So by pressing this watch button, you are subscribing to all of the notifications. So these are the things I think you need to know. We'll explore it again later when we are in the web UI demo. So in a repository, these are some of the main files you need to include. And also in our hackathon, uh, that should be included, that you are having a readme.md file, you are having a license. Last three files are not needed as of now in the hackathon, but whenever you are working on a other project like some open source project, these last three files will needed to be included also. So first two files are readme.md and the license. Let's talk about the readme.md file. And if you are wondering .md, what does it mean? .md is a markdown format, just like .txt, which is a text format, .docs, which is document format for Word documents. So .md is also a markdown format. It is very similar to HTML, but much simpler. So let's talk about the README. README is a file which uh, which talks everything about the project, that how someone has to download it, how someone has to use it, if someone wants to collaborate also, what does it what he or she needs to follow, and if there are some dependencies on it that you need to include in your computer to use this project. So everything is mentioned there, that who all are our contributors to this project, who else has contributed in the past, and who are working it now. So everything is included in the readme.md file. So let us take an example for this readme.md file. Let's suppose you bought a washing machine, which is an electronics or a gadget or appliance. So not all appliances are similar. Some are different, some have different sets of buttons, some have different features. So most of the appliances, I can say all of the appliances, include a manual with them, so that you can use it efficiently, so that you know what you have to do and what you do not have to do. So readme.md is just like that manual, but for our project, that what all you need to do and how you have to do it. So this kind of things are mentioned in the readme file, and I encourage you guys to please include this file in your project and mention how your project has to be run, or if you are using a JavaScript framework, so how I have to run it, what kind of scripts I have to run. So please mention all kinds of things in this readme.md file. Well, it is not necessary, but I would suggest you should do that because it is considered a best practice. And let us talk about the license here. So there are various kinds of license in the open source world, which permit you to do something with the project. Like if you know a little bit about open source, what you know is that you can make all kinds of changes to that project. You can distribute it also, you can change and use it for yourself also, and you can most of some of the times you can earn money with your project also after making changes. So this all kinds of things are included in the license. So be wise when you choose what license you choose for your project. And contributing.md file, this file includes all kinds of contribution guidelines which you need to follow to contribute on a project. Code of conduct file is for a project that you have to behave, what all code of conduct you have to follow while contributing to this project. So well, as the name suggests, code of conduct, what all kinds of things it will be including, you all know that. Changelog.md is kind of a tricky file. Not all projects include that, but only those kinds of projects include which are very large and which cannot write documentation for every version changes. So this changelog.md file includes all kinds of changes done on a version. So let's move ahead. So in a repository, there is a thing called issues, which a user or a manager creates. So whenever you create a new issue, means you are saying that there is some problem with your code, which you need to fix it. And some of the times user also suggests that okay, I can fix this problem, this is the solution. And some most of the times project manager has to fix that problem. So let us take an example. This is a repository of Facebook slash React, means the React.js framework or library, I can say. So this is the repository of React.js. So suppose I created a issue that this feature in the React needs to be changed because it creates problem while installing. So I will suggest this issue to the Facebook project managers, and they will see if this issue is correct. So they will start working on it. And if it's not correct, then they will close it by telling me that this feature is not needed now, maybe. So this is all you need to know about issues. And these are the issue icons. That this green one suggests that it is open and you can claim that issue and start working on it. And this red one says that it is closed. Either it has been solved, I mean that feature has been implemented, or whatever the issue talks about, that thing is solved, or either that feature is not needed for now. And for the pull request part, pull request is something like you are working on a project and you are requesting that thing, your code, to be included on someone else's project. For example, this picture you can see now, here it is the repository of Visual Studio Code, the code editor which most of you are going to use in this hackathon. So it is the repository of VS Code. Suppose I like to create a feature. If you know, there is a stories part also on the VS Code. So if I want to create something like that, I will create a pull request and request the VS Code project managers to please include my code in this repository. So if they like it, they will include it, and if they don't like it, they will politely tell me that this feature is not needed, and if I want to use that feature or for my own, I can use it. So this is everything you need to know about pull request. That it is just a way of submitting our code to someone else's repository, so that that feature gets implemented in the production software, I can say. And these are the three pull request icons which you need to know before going through that. So this, the green one represents that that pull request is open and ready to review by the project manager. That means that project manager will review those code, that if it is correct, if it is working fine, then he will merge this. Merge this means merge it in the code base of the repository. And this red one suggests that it is closed, means that pull request is not needed as of now, so it is closed now. And the merge means, as I told, that the code is submitted, means it was needed, so it was merged to the main project repository. So before going to the web demo, that means I will talk about the repository and all the conventions which you need to follow in this hackathon. If there are any doubts, please ask in the chat section. Okay, I guess there are no doubts by the attendees. So we'll go ahead. So whenever after you have created your ID in the GitHub, this is the page you will see. So in the left section, there are various repositories which you are currently working on. And this will be your recent activity, means if you have recently opened an issue or any pull request, it will show here. And this is all the activities. This section includes all kinds of people who you are following. So let's start. First of all, you have to click this plus here and press on the new repository. So this way you will be creating your repository. And for the repository name, what we have decided is you will have to start your repository name, means that project name which you are going to submit in our hackathon. It is API HACKS API hacks underscore your team name. So it will be something like that. And this green check represents that that name is available. It means you can use this name for your repository. And for the solo participants, your team name will be your username, means the username which you are going to use in the GitHub or you have registered in the form. So in my case, I will write Ashish here. So the repository name is going to be API hacks underscore Ashish. And description, it is optional, but I would suggest you to please write description here. So let's write here. And if you remember, we talked about the readme.md file, and you will have to ignore it. So this is the section which asks you to initialize the repository with, means GitHub will automatically initialize these files in your repository. Add .gitignore. So this file is the file which you will have to use most of the times if you are working with frameworks or other kinds of libraries. So .gitignore file, for example, if you're working on React, so React uses node modules. So for that, you will have to use this gitignore template for node. So it will not include all those files which are .node modules folder and .log files and all kinds of files which are not needed in your project. So this is a template for that. You can always edit it later. And here is the license. So I am selecting here the MIT license, which almost gives you permission to do everything with your project. So let's click on the create repository button now. Please make sure that you have created your repository name like this: API hex underscore your team name. And for the solo participants, your team name can be replaced by your own name. So let's click on the create repository. It will take few seconds of time, and then voila, it is created. So here is the heading for your repository. By default, it takes your repository name, which you can edit always later. So, and we haven't talked about branches yet because I thought it was not needed as of now. But you can work on branches, and by default, the main is the default branch in the GitHub. So let's see. Yeah, now we have created your repository on the GitHub, and you will have to upload your files here. So there are two ways. One way is click on the add file button here. Then you will have two options: create new file. If I click create new file, then I'll have the option to create a new file in the browser itself. Means I can type out any name here like text.txt. So I created this file test.txt, and I can do it in the browser itself. And now if you scroll down after writing your text here, you will have the option to commit the file. So you will have to be very cautious about writing commit messages because it tells you what changes you have made. So I'll write here. I've written here create test file. So I'll commit this. And this was one way to create a new file. So now you can see the test.txt is created, and what we have written is we have written test there, so it is exactly as it is as we have created that. And here you can see the commit history. So guys, we'll be checking this commit history also, because you are not allowed to commit any changes related to your project's code before the hackathon starts. So make sure the repository, whatever repository you have made, it should not include any commits related to your code before today midnight. So make sure that who else have created the repositories. If you have already done that, please archive or private that repository and make a new one. And let's talk about the second thing, which is upload files. So when you click on the upload files button here, it will ask you to drag some files here, or you can choose all files. So it will open this dialog here, so you can choose all kinds of file you want to include. So I'll leave it here because I don't know what file I want to upload here. So let's talk about the third way, which is cloning. Cloning is something like you are creating a project, a copy of the project which is hosted on GitHub, and now you are copying it to your local machine. Means now I am accessing this project from my browser window. So it is for sure it is not on my local machine. Means I can't download these things now. So for that I'll have to clone it. When you clone something, wait, wait for a minute.
Ashish, I think we should take some doubts now, actually, right? What do
Yeah,
you
sure,
feel?
Abhi. Sure,
Yeah.
Abhi.
So, guys, Let's have a quick doubt session once again. Amit and Shikha, you last time asked. In fact, let other ask this time. You can also ask if you have any doubts. So let's have a quick doubt session. I think I'll randomly pick one. Diksha, right? Diksha Bhatnagar. I think she's not there. And you can ask, guys. I think Diksha is not there. You can ask directly if you have any doubts. Do we have to make a repository by tomorrow? But tonight, midnight, like today midnight, around 12 p.m., the repository should be like created, kind of like stuff. I think that is clear, Vishant, by midnight tonight. Okay. So this is clear, Vishant? Do you have to make a repository by tomorrow? Yes, because round zero is the idea based, and the round one, as per the participant guide which we shared, will be we need repositories to evaluate you, and if anything is not like it's not properly filled, we'll be just asking once, or if there's a lot of crowd, we'll be actually directly it will be like disqualified because if have the because it's already said in the participant guide that you need a repository, and we'll be tracking those repositories like using our git kraken module, so you don't need to worry about the tracking and evaluation stuff that we'll do. That's not a worry, but make sure you make a repository by midnight itself today. And this one, what will it contain? Yes, so it will first have the README file, which will be having your details, team details, and what is your team members and all those IDs, GitHub IDs. If you are in a team, if you are a solo participant, then you need to just mention your name and the email. Fine, on your GitHub README files. Then what the idea you actually thought, right? The idea which you thought in the round zero, and you need to code it up, right? What how to use the APIs and all those things. We'll have a session on APIs too, so don't worry on it about it. We'll have the session on APIs. So round zero is actually just the ideation part, and after round zero, that means after 25th minute after the session, you have the full time to think about what to code or what not to code or something like that. You can think, and we'll see your progress to your GitHub in round one. You have ample amount of time for that, I think so. Is that clear, Vishant and Amit? Okay. I think I let me just repeat once more that once again that you just need to create the repo now, and write the README in your details about what is your team, are you solo or something like that. You need to mention the team name, and then what you have to write over there is just the mention the README and all the stuff. Fine, that's all great. Now what happens after the API session tomorrow? That will be as scheduled on the participant guide. We have to also write in Google form also this question. Actually, for round zero, we are actually taking the GitHub. I think the round zero mentions have been there. Let me just See the form over here. Round zero, you need to have the team name, team leader name, email of the team leader, and write up what's your idea and the video link, that YouTube video link. It can be unlisted and the link is private to us. That means it's just unlisted and we can only see. Right. So we don't need to mention it in round zero about the GitHub thing, and but in round one you have to, because that's needed. Until and unless we cannot perform evaluation rounds on your project, so it will be simply disqualified if you don't put your GitHub repo ID or GitHub repo URL in round one evaluations, not round zero. Round zero, you just need to be creative. You just have to be creative. Just throw out your creative hormones over there and just use it, like what you want to build or something like that. Just use your creativity in round zero. And in round one, then you need to do some coding stuff, and you have ample amount of time for round one. I hope so. That's clear, right, Amit? Okay, Ashish, you may continue.
Yeah, I also wanted to add something here, that all these doubts are related to our hackathons stages, right? So don't worry, guys. It all will be cleared by tomorrow also, because in keynote we will be talking about all these things. And please go through the participant guide once. It contains almost everything you need to know. And if there is something is missing, please ask in the doubt section. Sorry, in the doubt channel in our Discord server. Also be active there, so that you are um, well known with the announcements going on, and also the timeline also. So let's continue with our um, task, that we have to do the cloning now. So we were talking about cloning, right? So what cloning means is, you are making a copy of your project which is hosted somewhere else. Means you are watching it on a browser, right? So it is stored in a GitHub server. So that GitHub server is somewhere else. I don't know where it is, but I need to download this project code. So for that I need to clone it. To clone, you need to first click on this green code button. Click on it. Then here you can see the link. You can either select this link and copy it, or here copy to clipboard button, you can click it. So after clicking it, we'll be switching back to the terminal now. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so it is visible now, I think. So the first command you need to know is, let's check I have Git or not in my system. So it says Git version 2.29.1 and something else. So yes, I have Git on installed on my system, so I can use the Git command line tool. So let's clone our repository. So you can see I am currently in my projects folder, which is in the C drive. So please make sure where you are cloning it, because if you have cloned somewhere else and now you are searching for it, that where does my code go? So make sure where you are cloning it. So the command for cloning is git, then clone, and then paste your link. Okay. So this is the link which we copied from our browser, and when you click enter, so what it will do is it will download all the things which the files included in your project. So let us see if it is properly downloaded or not. So this was my folder, which is API hacks underscore my name. In your case, it would be your team name, or it would be your name if you are a solo participant. So let us check everything has been downloaded or not. So yes, I remember I had created a readme.md file. There was a MIT license, and we had also included the .gitignore file. So almost everything has been downloaded, and also this the test.txt file which we added via create new file in the browser itself. So now you have cloned your project now. So what you will have to do, like you will open an editor and you will work on your project. If it is a web-based project, you will have to create some files, something like index.html or CSS files or JavaScript files. If you are working on a JavaScript framework project, so if it is Angular or if it is React, then you will have to create those files. In our case, I will just create a file which is called index.html. So I have, okay, so it doesn't work here. So what I will do is I will create a file now which is called index.html. So let us check it has been created or not. Yes, I can see the index.html file now. So I will edit the index.html file in the terminal itself. So let us include the HTML tags. Please guys bear with me, my typing speed is not so good now. I will just add one thing here, which is a heading. So I'll add a test file now. So it is the simplest HTML file which you can imagine. So I have created my index.html file. So now I will save it. Okay, let us see if our changes have been saved or not. Okay, so we can say that our changes have been saved. So now recall what we had talked about Git. Like first, what you have to do. What we are currently working on the working directory now. So like just now I created a file. So it is called the working directory. Now you have not, added nothing to the project. There is one command which you can use, which is git status. It is just like the Instagram or Snapchat status. You see, that status shows status of that person. But now we are checking the repository status now. So here it is in the red line showing that these things are modified and this thing is added, means untracked file. So what we have to do is we have to add this to the staging area. So here you can see Git is a very nice software. It also suggests you to do that you need to git add or you need to git commit. So what we'll do is we'll do git add. So git add doesn't work something like that, that you have to write git add and it will be added. You will have to include the files here. You will have to write something like index.html and all the name of files you will have to add here. But what we want to add here is we want to add everything. So to add everything, you need to just include a dot that symbolizes that I want to add everything here. So let me press enter. So it doesn't show anything. That means everything has been successfully added to the staging area. So let's check the status again. So now you can see before it was red, it means that changes have been not staged for commit, and this was the untracked file. So after we have added it to the staging area, you can see that these changes have been added to the staging area, means they are green, means they are ready to be committed, like we discussed before. So what we'll do now is we'll commit these changes. So in the git commit command, this is git and the option is commit, and the flag m minus hyphen m represents that we are adding the title of the commit now. So how you will have to write? You will have to write git, and which is CLI tool, and you will have to write commit, which is the option, and the hyphen m is the option flag here. So hyphen m represents that you are going to write title for your commit. So just now what we done is we have added the index.html file. So I'll write here create index.html file. That's it. This is my commit message, and when I will press enter, okay, so there's a problem here. Okay, so it shows that the index.html file has been created, and it has successfully committed that. To check the commits, you can press command git log, which is git then log. It will show all the kinds of commit you have done in your repository till now. So we can see that previously we added the commit create test file, which was for the test.txt file, and this is the initial commit which GitHub added by default whenever we create a repository, and this is the latest commit which we have created just now, which is for the
So
index.html.
yeah. So guys, this is the thing which you will see that for the qualification that the commit has been made after like the midnight. That's 24th midnight. That's how we will
Yeah,
check it.
you can see the time here. This is what Abir is talking about. We will see the time that it is not before today's midnight. That's it. So as you can see, we have successfully committed our file. In your case, you will be adding all your project files. It is just a dummy file in my case, but in your case, it will be your projects folder, all your code which you have worked hard for. So it's now time to push it to the repository from where it has been downloaded. So it is a git remote repository. So you will have to do git push. As you can see, it has been successfully pushed to the remote repository, which that means wherever the GitHub server is, it has been pushed there. So we can see it in the browser now. Let us switch to the browser window. I hope my screen is visible to everybody. Yeah. So like we are here in the browser window and we haven't refreshed yet. So you can see here are only 4 files. So whenever I refresh, and here you can see the 20 minutes ago, 21 minutes ago tag that it was done 21 minutes ago. And whenever I refresh this tab, so yes, you can see the 3 minutes ago. And here is the commit history, which we just checked with the help of git log. And this is that index.html file which we have created. So let us see if it has been successfully created or not. Yeah, this is all the code which we had added, and this is everything which you need to do in the hackathon, right? Okay, so in my case it was only this one file, and in your case it will be a lot of files which you will be working on. There will be many files and you will have to add it like that only. So
Ashish, you
that's
can
it.
show them that one of the examples you use in COVID-19 tracker using APIs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, this is the project which I had made with the help of React.js and COVID-19 API. I'll also show the API to you, which I had used. So, this is the heading and all, and this is the real data which I was fetching from the API. So these are the infected people. It is now total. It is showing now total means all over the world. This number of people are infected. This number of people are recovered, and this number of deaths have been reported. So this thing, and this is the graph. I am using the chart.js library for this thing. So that's it. This was my simplest project I had made, and actually it was my first project with the help of API. So it is completely static site now, and as much I know, it updates in 20 minutes of time. So every 20 minutes this API calls to the server, and all the data is fetched from there. So
Ashish,
let
can you
us.
send the link of this site so that our users can also see?
Yes, sure, I'll share that in the chat section. Yeah, so it was the global chart. Now let us check for India, that how much cases has been reported till yet in the India. Oh my god, it is so huge number. So it is the number report infected people for the India. This number of people have been recorded, and this number of deaths have been reported yet. And this is the chart for the same. These are the infected people, these are the recovered people, and this is the number of death. So it's good that the number of death is very low. So this is everything about my project. It was a very simple project. So guys, don't take this kind of idea because it is very simple and most of the people have done this. In this hackathon, you will have to be a little more creative than this thing. It is just an illustration that what you can do with the API. That's it. So I have not used any backend technology here like Node or PHP or anything some which works for the backend. I've just used an API. I'm fetching the data, and my website is built. It also shows the date now. So this is what you can do with the API. And there are many more examples which we'll be sharing with you. And now, if you have any doubt, you can ask us in the chat section. Sorry, guys, I forgot that I had promised that I will show you the API now. So let me search for it. It was Metro. Yeah. So this was the API which I had used. So it only gives these three kinds of data, which is confirmed or infected, and second is recovered, and third is death. So this API only deals with these three kinds of data. And here are all kinds of routes which you can ask from the API. If you are getting overwhelmed now that okay, how will we work on the API, so we'll have a session for that. So stay tuned, and you can clear all your doubts related to APIs on that session. So, and just like we talked about the readme file, so we are watching the readme file now. And you can see that this person has included all the things which you need to see before working on that project. So it has included the routes which you can use and which you can fetch data from. And this is the usage section, which is the most important. When you want to use the AP, not API, particular this project, you will need to first clone it, then you will have to install the dependencies, and then you can start working on it. And this is the showcase section. So all these people have used this API in their projects. And this is the license section. This person has included MIT license for this project. And these are the list of contributors which all people have contributed on this project. And let us see my project's code. Where it is? Yeah, this one. So this is the code base of my project, which I just showed you earlier. And here it is the React code. So it will have a public folder and the src folder and all the related files here. So I have also included my readme file. This is the link of my website which I have included here, and this is a screenshot of that website. That how does it look? I have not included much things because at the time when I created this folder or this repository, I was a beginner to GitHub. So I have not included much things here. But on later time, whenever I create a project, I try to include as much information I can give to the collaborators in the GitHub, so that it is better. So this is everything. And now you have any doubts, you can ask us. Abir, I don't think people have doubts. So can we wrap up the session?
Yeah, that's fine. I think they don't have any doubts. A bit much. They have got to know more about what is GitHub and how to get started with GitHub. Yeah, exactly. So that's all, guys, from the pre-hack session. I hope you are going to go through the participant guide and everything that we have shared with you. And we'll be having the keynote session explaining all the details about the mini hack and what are the things you have to do. And if you have any doubts, you can directly ask on the doubt section. But yes, do your research on GitHub. I'm sharing you a link where you can directly do some reading stuff on the GitHub, that how to do the stuff and all those things directly on the chat box. I'm sharing it. Okay. So that's all from our side. Now it's up to you how you push yourself up after getting to know this knowledge of GitHub. Right. This is everywhere. If you go, you'll get started with these things only. That how to make a commit and all those things. You'll be getting to know about what all are these things. But now it's your time to push yourself up, explore more, learn more by reading blogs, articles on Google. Just Just there you need to type get started with GitHub, Medium, or a blog or something like that. You can directly read onto this and push yourself up. Always in computer science, you have to push yourself up in order to survive. That's it. That's the rule. Okay. So that's all, guys, from our side, and we'll see you in the keynote session. Thank you, Ashish, for a wonderful session.
Thank you, Abir, for having me.
So, normal.